you, and then we'll go pull out the spread and go into the reading for this month, okay? So I feel like this is a month of re-examination, re-examining where you've been and where you're trying to go. And I feel for a lot of you, this is going to manifest in your professional career life, okay? What I feel happening is there might have been a few opportunities in the past, and for whatever reason, I feel like you might have passed them up. Mainly because you weren't certain whether or not they were going to be good for you, whether or not they were going to pan out and create stability and longevity for you. But I also feel this element here about, wanting to try things that are tried and true rather than venturing out, forging a new path for yourself. So there has been a lot of situations in the past where you have really held yourself back, mainly because, you wanted something a lot more certain, a lot more stable, and a lot more predictable. So that's the message I have here. And so moving forward, I feel that a lot of you, many people around you, and I feel like family members, close friends, for example, they're starting to make really good strides in their career. Like you start to see that their professional life is really, panning out. It's really becoming prosperous. And so some of you are comparing where you are right now, comparing the stability that you're feeling in your current work situation, the money that you're getting based on, your salary, your the benefits that you're getting in the work environment. And you want to be where your peers are. You want to be, also progressing. And so a lot of it boils down to the fact that I feel some of you have passed up opportunities in the past, mainly because you felt like you weren't ready. You felt like, no, I don't want to take on that additional responsibilities. No, I don't really want to be in the public limelight. I want to work behind the scenes. I want to do something meaningful. And there's definitely, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I do feel that, Virgos, you're meant for greatness. You're meant for greatness. And I feel like one of the strengths that you bring to the table in any work environment is that you are a stickler for rules, regulations. And I don't feel like that's the problem. Because you're such a good person for sticking to, tradition and rules and regulations, you are somebody that abides by the rules. And so working in a context where you have to, respect hierarchy, you have to manage projects, you have to do things in a methodically, in a procedurally correct manner. I feel that you've always been abiding by the rules, right? And people trust you because they see you as kind of like that pillar of moral authority. They see you as somebody who is very just, very wise, and also, I want to say like, who has a moral compass, okay? So in any work environment, you thrive really well because you follow things, to the T. And I feel like it has worked really well for you to get you to a position of prominence. And because of that, you're also scoped out and, solicited for positions of upper management. And I also feel because of that as well, there might be other areas, other places, other jobs that you want to do. It might not pay as well, but it might not pay as much as you're hoping to get. But I feel like it's a lot more rewarding and it's a lot more meaningful. And so one of the things I feel happening, I'm going to pull out one last card for you. And there are other things that you want to do. And I do sense a majority of you. There's this element here about you wanting to give back to others, okay? So you're not hoarding power, you're not hoarding money. I feel that you really want to do work that is meaningful. You want to be able to help people, and you also know what it's like to work really hard and not get the recognition, not get the accolades that, you deserve. And so you feel that you want to give back to your community in some way. You want to give back to other people, and you want to also provide the opportunities, the mentorship, so that other people can follow in your footsteps, so that other people can, see a way out of their dire predicament. So I feel like many of you are committed to service. Many of you are really committing yourselves to making work, finances, structure, to allow other people to rise. Okay, so you are of service to humanity. And I feel that the current environment that you're working in, there's great compensation, there's great salary, there's potential for movement, and especially moving up in that career ladder. Being able to get into a managerial type of a position. And because you are somebody who is extremely hardworking, quite intelligent as well, people above you, people below you, they have a great deal of respect for you. This is overall generosity coming through from an institution, generosity coming through from a hierarchical structure, so people working above you, supervisors, manager. They really appreciate your contributions, and they know that you are one in a million, and they can't really replace you. So I feel that this is not a month for you to question your capabilities, and I don't see that coming through so much. But I feel like you have a specific way about you where you want to work behind the scenes and you want to do work that's meaningful. But I feel that you're kind of being pushed or pulled into a position of power because people above you know that you don't seek power for power's sake. You want to have power as a means to an end, to be able to help other people, to be able to change the system from within, and to be able to reach out to a larger audience. Okay, so this is a very noble cause that you're shifting gear towards. The last card that I pulled out basically indicates, fears and hesitations, okay? This is a card about, charging forward, doing so bravely, not questioning our capabilities. And, at the same time, it's a very adventurous card. And what I feel happening is some of you are in a work environment where things are stable, things are going very, very well. And others of you, you're facing some type of restructuring as well. And I feel this is also some coming through for the Taurian people. The energy is very similar. So if you have Taurus, planets in Taurus, and especially your rising or your moon or your sun in Taurus, you might also want to watch that video as well, because I feel like there's some restructuring and you're trying to figure out where you are supposed to be and where you're supposed to, what's the next step in that career ladder? Like, what's the next project for you to work on? Where are you supposed to be right now? And this card overall basically indicates like not making a move because we are afraid. It's not so much about timing, because I feel like when you do something, whatever you touch will come to fruition, because you don't just jump in and, do it without a strategy. I feel that a lot of you ruminate, you think, and you overanalyze, and you have contingency plans. So I feel like you're very methodical, almost like a scientist when it comes to, should I do this or should I do that? And I feel like you sit down and you analyze all the different scenarios in your head before you make a move. And a lot of the times, it might have been very safe moves that you're making. And so this room for error, this, charging into the unknown, ask questions later, this is not something that you want to do, even though everybody around you is telling you, you have to do it. You're getting support from people like the higher ups. You're getting support as well, very positive reception from the people that you're helping. You're also getting very positive support here, showing that people will, if you lead, people will follow. So you have really great leadership skills. And you have the drive and the ambition to really motivate other people. But I feel like, your personality is not like a Leo where you want the spotlight. Your personality is a lot more, like demure, behind the scenes. I do my work, you do yours. So I feel that you are somewhat like, like the major arcana that represents you, the hermit. You work best behind the scenes, and you don't really want to step out into the light, to have to take on additional responsibilities, to have to do damage control, to have to deal with the public, where there could potentially be a lot of opposition, where you feel like maybe I have these ideas, but people won't be on board, and I don't want to have to convince other people to get on board with me. But I feel that in any position, there are always going to be opposition. There are always going to be people that we need to convince to come over to our point of view and to see things from our perspective. And it permeates through relationships as well, not just in the work environment. So I feel that you are at a point here where things are starting to stagnate, right? It's comfortable. It's comfortable. And you have so much potential that needs to be cultivated. Okay, you have new skills that you need to learn, and a lot of it has to do with leadership. And I feel there is a innate. Every time I see a Virgo in person, I feel like there is an innate shyness about you, and an innate like chip on your shoulders where you feel like, I don't have the skills, I'm not good enough, I'm not a great communicator, I'm not a great speaker. But you are all of these things. And one of the things that they want to advise you here is that we don't need to be an extrovert in order to be a good communicator, a good speaker, a leader. We need to communicate very well from a place of passion in order for us to be able to move people along. So throughout your life, you might have, been a little bit more of a wallflower. And you might have shied away, I feel, from social interactions. And I honestly feel like many of you have taken on responsibilities at a very, very young age. So that means, taking on jobs when you I'm feeling like people as teenagers taking on like either, having to care for siblings, having to work at a really young age. So then you couldn't really go out with your friends. And for whatever reason, more responsibilities were imposed upon you at a younger age than all the other signs. And as a result of that, you didn't have that sense of a normal childhood. You didn't have the time and the luxury to cultivate those, social skills that allows you to mingle with other people. And so you feel that because you might not have the ability to mingle, to banter, and to, just naturally interact with people, you sense that, oh, I don't have the great communication skills. So I feel like those things distort your ability to see yourself in a leadership capability, because you might feel like, oh, I'm not really good at interacting with people. But they're saying that if you're really passionate about something, and especially if you're very knowledgeable about a specific area, you can talk all day, all night, because you're passionate about it. And so it's not so much about, being sociable, because that is something very superficial. It's more about being able to lead people, being able to connect to people, being able to really turn our passion, our drive into something tangible and running with it, okay? So I'm sensing that in this spread, there is a major, major breakthrough happening for you for this month. And a lot of it has to deal with, pushing you out into the public sphere. And so you are going to have to overcome anxieties. If you have social anxieties, if you have fears about, being in a position of power, giving, a lot of presentation, training people, constantly being kind of like the person that you have to, that others come to solve their problems or to bounce ideas off of. I feel that you are going to have to overcome this inertia or this sense that you're not good enough, so that you can achieve a lot more greatness for yourself. I do see a lot of hesitation, and I feel like this is still a very, very introspective month. So we need to draw within. Don't act just yet. Formulate some type of a plan and figure out, realistically, what do I need to do in this present moment in time so that I can, I guess, so that you can know for certain where you need to be and what work would be, likely for you. So I'm sensing there will be situations where there's a sense of competition happening in the work environment somehow. And you're going to come out on top, but it basically requires that you really stand up for your beliefs, you really advocate for something that you passionately believe in. And other people are going to be on board, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you feel that you're good enough or adequate enough. I feel that you have to advocate for something. and you have to, really try to convince the other people. So it's kind of like holding an opinion that I feel is right. It's a right opinion, but other people, for whatever reason, might not be on board. And so it's your job to try to convince them, to get them on board, because you are fighting the good fight and you're fighting for the greater good. I also feel an element here about a lot of you are dealing with some type of family structure. Okay, and this is not going to apply to all people. This is just going to apply to a few Virgoan people out there. But I'm just going to say this. I feel like you're dealing with a family structure. It's stable. It provides stability. So there is a way of doing, a way of providing for the family, or a way of giving support. It's I guess this is a little bit of a hard message, but I'm almost feeling like, so let me just, explain this further by way of example. So this is a card about, family institutions and things like that. And I feel like they're coming in terms of work and family. If you are working in an institutional setting, there is something very rigid that's put in place, okay? And what it does is that it provides funding. It's keeping the economy going, but it seems to me there's a better way to do it. It seems to me like a lot of the things based on this, a lot of the things that are done is enabling the system. It's also enabling dependencies. It's creating dependencies. And so you really want to think about, is there a better way to do this? Because I feel like you're a cog in the wheel and you're a smart sign. So of course you know that, wait a minute, this system is not working. It seems on the surface really shiny and bright and, helpful, but it's creating some type of structural systemic problem. And I feel that it's creating dependencies. And so you're going to have to be really honest and frank about that. And I do sense that, if we're working, for example, in a big company and there are a lot of just inefficiencies and everybody has a job, everyone's well paid and everyone's happy. If you come on board with this opinion, based on facts, that things could be done a lot better. So we don't need all of these people working. We only need two. So a lot of people are going to be laid off, right? So it's kind of like it's the right opinion, but it feels to me like it's an unpopular opinion. And so I feel like you're grappling with this dilemma for this month, and because of that, you might not make a move, mainly because you don't want to throw your coworkers and other people that you work with under the bus. But I feel like you're grappling still with this ethical dilemma about, like, should I or shouldn't I? And I feel like this is coming through in your work environment, okay? Going back to the family message, maybe this is a better explanation for this. There are things that I feel you guys, some of you guys, just a small minority, especially the ones that are that should know better. So I would say, like, if you're, let's say, 35 above, okay, I feel that you might be kind of like the head of a family, okay, and there are things innately that are wrong within the family unit based on behavioral problems. And I feel that rather than sweeping them under the rug and pretending they don't exist, I feel like some behaviors in the family might not be entirely healthy, because it's a very, you see it as generosity. You see it as, we're family. We need to help each other. We need to provide support for each other. But if somebody is enabling the behavior doesn't get addressed. And I feel that it can create a lot of problems further down the line. So exercising a little bit of a, loving detachment in your family relationship is going to be important to you, because I feel like people need to be called out on their bad behavior, and I feel like you might have a child, or like your child, or your own child, even though they're an adult, or a younger child in the picture, who is not who is not being held accountable for his or her actions. And I feel like in the spirit of, family love and support, you want to gloss over this person's bad behavior, but it's creating a lot of problems for this person later on. It's also creating confusion for this person as they, go and grow into the world, as they grow up, and they're trying to figure out what is morally right and what is morally wrong, because I feel like they need that support. They need that tough love. They need that, objectivity from you. And I feel like you want to offer love and support, and you're not stating what it is that you believe in. And so it can create that wave of confusion for this person as they're trying to find themselves. Okay, so I feel like that's coming through in your family. So exercising a little bit of tough love and a little bit of loving detachment and holding people accountable, I feel is really important for this month. Okay, so I hope that is helpful for you, Virgos. I am very sorry for that preachy message, but I feel like it needed to be said. So we're going to go into your love reading, and let's see what's in store for you for... So once again, as I've mentioned with all the other signs, I am reading this in the upright position, mainly because it's easier for me with non-traditional decks, okay? And this is a very unique deck, so it's just easier for me to have to do it in a all in the upright position. Okay. So let us talk about the foundation. The foundation is the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is basically waiting for things to come in, waiting to start the next phase or the next journey of your life. And a lot of the times with the Three Wands, there is some expectations from other people. There will be other people chiming in, telling you, you should do this, you should do that. And I feel like the expectations coming through from other people is also a big constraint or a big deciding factor on which path you need to take. So you're not making decisions in a vacuum here. I feel that a lot of you have the weight of responsibilities of other people that are dependent on you. So for some of you, it could be like a child, your own child. Should I move here? If I move here, then the child might need to change school. And some of you, it's kind of like relationships. So I'm sorry, the focus of this is the love relationship, but I feel that some of you have like constraints from other people that are dictating your decisions, okay? So I feel that you're waiting on decisions, you're waiting on just a sense of clarity, and you're waiting on like offers and things like that. It's linked up here with the Emperor, and the Emperor is basically, this is a very strong-minded, very, very intelligent person. And I feel like some of you are in a relationship with this person. It could be a fire sign like an Aries, because this is the card that represents Aries. Or I feel that this is somebody that is coming into quite a lot of power, prestige, and prominence. And I do feel that you're waiting on another person to either, if this is you and you're in a position of prominence and prestige, you want to take the relationship to the next level. You're at a point where you are financially secure and you want to move things along. And so your partner might be waiting on some breakthrough in his or her career life in order to make promises to you. So I feel like there's still a period of waiting for some type of a positive outcome in your work environment, waiting on opportunities to come in so that you and your partner can decide, like, what do we do next as a unit? So I do feel there's a lot of cooperation overall, a lot of support, and kind of like that pillar of strength that you can lean on. So I feel a lot of you are coming into this month with a very, very good relationship partner that is also serving as a mentor to you, or likewise, you are kind of like a mentor to your relationship partner, and there's a mutual, energy about both of you wanting to grow together, wanting to take the relationship to the next level, wanting to create a stable foundation with one another. So we have stability stability overall in relationships. In the past position, we have here the Hermit and the Eight of Swords. There have been a period of time where I feel like you both were kind of like at a stalemate. You're trying to figure out, what should we do as a couple? How should we advance forward? And I do feel some of you, there is a big energy here about pregnancy and conception. And there's something here about child rearing, pregnancy, conception. And so the relationship was kind of like, it seems to me like an addition of a third party into the picture via conception, via pregnancy, via children, complicates the matter. And so the both of you have to try to figure out what is the best we can achieve here, and what's the best strategy that we can, all move forward so that we can have a stable relationship. So there's a lot of talks, a lot of conversation, I feel, happening in the past between you and a relationship partner. One person felt very stuck. They felt like financially or career-wise, professionally, or for whatever reason, they felt like they weren't ready. And I feel like you were the one giving them a lot of guidance, a lot of mentorship, a lot of support, and a lot of wisdom too, so that they can break out of this prison in which they're very uncertain, very mobilized by fear. And you have provided that, that pillar of strength for the your partner to lean on. So I feel like you have gone through a major period of growth together as a unit, which brings us to the next, to the present situation. We have here the Ace of Coins, and usually I think of this as taking the relationship to the next level, proposals happening for you, and with the World as well. I feel some of you are going to solidify your relationship. So this is coming through as a major proposal. And I also feel some of you, there is a major job that's happening, affecting the relationship, but I feel in a positive way, okay? So you or your partner can also be in... can be shifting jobs, or there's like a huge income boost, and all of it, I feel like it's happening for the better. So that means now that you have more money, now that you have more disposable income, I feel that the both of you are going through the motions of like, do we buy a house? Do we have children now? Do we, settle down? Do we live with our parents? So there are major family planning, some major important decisions regarding engagement, marriage, getting involved, taking the relationship to the next level happening for you guys. And I felt the same energy with Taurus people. So maybe when I do Capricorn, I'll see if the energy is still there, because it feels like Earth signs are getting a lot of relationship support. So crowning this reading is something that you're thinking about. We have here the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords usually indicates, separation or something like that. It indicates as well harsh words, possibly exchanged between two people, that can create an emotional rift, as well as the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups in this context, it basically denotes a situation where you have multiple options that are laid out before you, and you're thinking, weighing out the pros and cons, weighing out your option, and trying to figure out the best outcome. And I do sense that there has been, some type of a relationship from the past that it's still a little bit raw. So singles for this month, I don't feel that you're heavily dating, okay? I don't feel singles going out and dating. I feel like your career is really your top priority for this this month. And then I also feel that, the coupled people, you're still trying to decide. You're still trying to decide how to move things to the next level. And I feel that a lot of it rests upon whether or not you're going to get a new job or shift job. And then it's also resting upon your partner. Where is your partner financially? Are you both going to be able to have that extra, salary increase? Are you both going to have that disposable income? Because I feel like there is something big, like a big pregnancy, a big addition to the family. Moving forward into the future position, we have here the Page of Cups, which is And then the Ten of Cups. So I feel like there is a child being brought into the picture, and there's a lot of family love, support, and bliss overall in your relationships. For those of you who are single, I do feel there is a potential here to have. I feel like somebody is showing their interest in you, and you might be hurt. You might have recently, it feels to me like, oh, it's too soon. I'm not ready to date yet. And so I feel that you have here a water sign. So this is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio, providing, opportunities, like soliciting you to go out. And it's linked up here with the Ten of Cups. And so I feel like there can be a very good relationship to be had here. But I feel like emotionally you're not ready. So I feel a lot of new single people out there, or people that are in solid relationships that are going to be taken to the next level. Okay. I hope the reading resonates with you, and I hope that it is helpful for you. But we have some really good positive connections to be made this month with new people. Okay. So you have like a lot of new support, but I also feel some of you might be welcoming like a new addition to your family, like a pet, even a child, and things like that coming into the relationship, which will really fortify and strengthen the relationship, I feel. Okay. So Virgos, best of luck with everything. I wish you all the best for this month. And if you'd like to book a private reading, the information to my scheduling website is below. If you'd like to donate to the channel as well, the link is down below. 2 weeks. So if you're looking to book an appointment, I would say the earliest I can start to open it up is next Friday, because I'm going through some transitions here, and I don't know what my schedule is going to look like week to week. So I'll start to open it up, like Friday night or something, to set up for the next week. So if you go on the website and it's all booked up, Friday is when it's going to open up again, and Friday is when I'll know how many clients I can take and such. Okay. I'm dealing with some massive restructuring in my life for the month of June, and it might involve like a major relocation. So I'm trying to figure out what my schedule is going to look like. So it's a little bit all up in the air. Okay. But I do wish you all the best, and I will also be back for the mid-month reading as well. So I like to keep the videos consistent. Okay, because it's helpful to people. So best of luck with everything, Virgos. Take care of yourself, okay? I'll be back for the mid-month reading. Bye-bye.